Hello Scorpio, welcome to your reading. My name is Maria and this is a tarot intuitive story for you if you have Scorpio anywhere dominantly in your chart, if you're a cross watcher or something else drew you here. For me personally, when I resonate with a reader, I actually resonate with all of their readings, so that might be the case for you as well. So your reading starts with the tiny house. Oh, that's funny. It's tidy house, but it comes out as tiny house, so maybe you're living very simply. The subtitle is Clarity and Organization, and this is talking about putting your focus on your home and the simple things, because it has sort of a magic that's waiting to be unfolded. And you've had your eye on something else, something sort of somebody else looks like, but mostly something outside of yourself has been taking a lot of your focus, and you're now being asked to take this focus back home and to focus on your home and your very near surroundings, maybe your closest friendships or family. And it also comes out with this one, the Four of Inspiration, that looks like communion with others, but sort of very softly. So maybe through meditation or just hanging out, chilling, not doing a lot of things. It looks like it's very much about sort of simple pleasures and being at home. You're either coming into this, or you just have, or you're about to, because you've been focusing on somebody else, and you haven't really been focused on what's up close and personal to you. And you come out with the duck, and the duck is usually this comes out as sort of an underrated superhero, because the duck is a super animal. But actually today what struck me is that it's swimming the other way. It's not a forward movement. So it's almost like you're going back home. You might have been out in the world sort of overachieving in some way, or doing something where you put in a lot of effort, and you've realized, no, I'm actually not going to put all of my effort into something outside of myself or outside of my close circle or my own personal life, because there could be a multitude of reasons, but it sort of comes out like you doing a U-turn and just being not willing to make that sort of investment, or to run around and being an overachiever to save everybody else, or to do the work for others, or to invest maybe in places where the same investment is not coming back to you. So your where you've been, what you've been focusing on, comes out as the Watcher's transpersonal card. So a couple of things came out here. First, this looks sort of like if you've seen Indiana Jones, I think maybe the third is about Indy finding the Holy Grail in sort of a castle that's carved into rock. I think, in real life it's in Jordan. And it sort of comes out like that, like somewhere where you would go to try to get the Holy Grail. But on top of it is some danger. I don't know if other people can see this. Please let me know if you can. To me, this looks like an alligator head. Like there's an alligator on top of this. So it looks kind of glorious, maybe divine, or very sort of at first mystical, attractive, but this is coming out, I think, as somebody else you've been sort of invested in. When it comes to it, they're actually a predator. They're actually a very sort of sneaky predator energy that is hiding until, like, it's almost like you would hike all the way up to this mountain hoping to find the sun, and then when you get there, sort of the jaws would close and you would be in a pickle. And so this could have been also a community. It doesn't necessarily have to be one person or a job or something, but it's certainly, this is another energy, And you've been trying, you've been focused on getting here or getting up on this mountain or somehow being fascinated by it. And you've been trying to figure out, what is it? Is it actually a predator? Is it good? Is it bad? I see you kind of looking backwards, but walking away. I mean, that's what you have been doing, or that's what you are doing. You walk away because I see the owl moving forward, which is sort of the wiser part of you. And you're sort of looking back to say goodbye, or to just take one last look. And then moving, well, forward to some extent, at least trying to move away from this energy that looks sacred but is actually predatory. And the reason why you're moving your energy away from it is because you can't figure out really what it is. It's like that other energy comes out with the spider, and so this is very difficult for me to find I feel like either you are caught in the web of this spider, or you don't know if you are. It's sort of an illusion that you're trying to figure out whether you're in the claws of somebody who's sort of a Machiavellian or narcissistic, or an energy that doesn't in any way have your best interests at heart. You're trying to find out if you're being manipulated or not. And this could, because it comes out with the web as well, this could be something that's going on online, but you're not sure. I mean, you're not sure where you are in this picture or who the spider is. You've been trying to figure that out. And then I see you choosing a strategy that has to do with either the heart. I don't know if I'm the only one who's seeing this, but to me, at first glance, this looked like a physical heart, sort of with the arteries here, and I just saw a heart. And this is talking about breath, but when I looked upon further inspection, it's planets. So this is coming out as sort of planetary movement, the heart, and or breathing. So any of these three could be sort of the modality that you choose in order to try to navigate this situation where you're trying to figure out, what is it actually that I'm walking away from? What am I dealing with? So you could be turning to sort of astrology, or a big astrological movement is happening and that's changing something for you. You could be focusing more on coming into your heart, because it also looks like the heart would be a match for this energy, because this energy coming out as transpersonal doesn't have the wisdom of the heart, but you do. You have that. You can access that, and you're doing it either consciously or subconsciously, and also because it comes out as breath, you could be doing breath work, and that is sort of bringing you out of, I think, mind fog, and into sort of a state where you try to find a truth or the light of what it is that's going on. So it's being described like this with the 7 of inspiration. Just the imagery and the card is telling me that you're trying very hard to keep the darkness out, to find the light, to see clearly, and to not fall into negative thoughts or negative feelings, negative outlook. It seems like you might be a little downcast over trying to figure out what this is and not having clarity about it. So you're trying very hard to be very focused and conscious about how you're using your spiritual powers. And this is going to yield results, what you're doing, either looking into astrology, there might be an answer there, or the breath, or the heart, or all 3 of them, because out comes the alligator, quite stunningly, in the same reading. I've never seen these two in the same reading, and it's astounding to me because they look like it's the same. here's the alligator. It's like we're seeing it from the front in this one, so it's kind of unclear. Could be just the top of the mountain. But here we're seeing it from the side suddenly, and we kind of see the alligator trying to hide its whole body between that sacred mountain and only having the jaws out ready to sort of bite whoever comes up it. And so whatever it is that you're doing is shifting your perspective. It's shifting it enough for you to, because you move from seeing this from the front, which is what it wants you to, right? It wants you to see it from the front, to seeing it from the side, which is enough for you to get clarity about what it actually is. So this energy, which is probably somebody else or a community or a place, they have been pulling off quite the illusion or manipulation, but wisely, you've been feeling like something was wrong. And so a perspective shift makes you see it very, very clearly, makes you see that it's actually a predator hiding, and that it's, because it also comes out with all of this sort of moon energy, that it's actually a sort of an illusory energy that operates in the shadows. And so you're realizing that. You're realizing it, and it's sort of bringing your power back to have this realization, because you might have been spending quite a lot of time trying to figure out what this was and whether you were being spun into a spider's web of some sort, but you are actually seeing it very clearly. And it is sort of a painful realization. This card came out in the last reading, reminding me of the Three of Swords, which is usually, I mean, the classical deck, it's a heart with 3 swords in it. Here we see 3 sharp things put into a crystal ball. So it might not be your heart that's broken, but it is sort of maybe some idea you had of your future, or an idea you had about some area of life you were in, or some person, or maybe your ability to see clearly. You might feel a little bummed out that you didn't completely see this at first, but I mean, even seeing it ever is so high level, because this is really, really difficult to make out, and it really demanded a lot. I just see one person after the other going up here and being devoured, and for you to have having had the patience and the insight to sort of wait and do something else and actually connect with something very authentic, hence realizing that this is an alligator, that's not easy. Not a lot of people could have done that. I mean, you did it because you're Scorpio, and clearly you're very insightful and conscious and aware and present, but otherwise you wouldn't have known. And I think you're also actually coming to that conclusion, because this card is coming out up very sort of lit up, sort of as a clarity. So you took a couple of hits, but it's like you're actually quite quickly coming to the realization that it only makes you more glorious, that you're now this crystal ball with like swords in them and you're still standing. It's like, it's really badass. It's sort of as if something here was, you might have felt like it was keeping some of your maybe future hostage in a way, but I mean, nothing of yours is a hostage of this, because you've been moving away from that energy and now seeing yourself in a completely new light. Just maybe seeing yourself for the first time with this new amount of ascension and wisdom and knowledge and insight that you have, and 3 swords not in any way being enough to take you down. And it's also like, actually, it enhances your power, because you come out with this one that looks so luminous. So it reminds me, that came out in another reading recently, I think, also, about that Leonard Cohen quote that says, there's a crack in everything, that's how the light gets in. And you having like these 3 cracks, and it just becoming so full of life and light and love, and you maybe seeing yourself in your power for the first time in a long time or ever. And so you come out the fly. It came out in the reverse. You wouldn't think it would matter because of this card, but it does. I feel like it does, because you are moving out of it turns out you were actually potentially a fly caught in this web, but it's sort of like you shifted it, you flipped the script, and became quite powerful. I mean, just the size of you are a match for this spider. If you were to take up a fight, it would be, I think, probably 50-50. Not sure who would win, but I mean, you would stand quite a better chance than you would if you were just a small fly, a normal sized fly, let's say. But you come out as quite the big one here. But how this one comes out is that it seems a little bit like it wants to caution you, to say, yeah, you might be strong enough to take on the spider, but you might not. It is sort of it's a toss-up. It could go well or not. I'm saying this because the hornet cactus comes out right afterwards, and it is talking about you contemplating retaliation. I think. Having sort of a moment where you righteously so angry about this one manipulating you and manipulating others before you, and maybe continuing to manipulate even more, if you just walk away and don't do anything about it. But Spirit is saying we cannot guarantee a great outcome if you take on the fight. You might get eaten, you might win, it's not quite clear. And the spider is a little bit more of a sort of a toxic energy than the fly. So you could find yourself in a pickle if you choose that road. And so I think you take a little bit of time to sort of reflect on that, you could have revenge fantasies, and maybe you should have that just to get it out of your system. Maybe just, take a little bit of time to just have a really good revenge fantasy and then let it go. If you're really upset and angry and however much you were manipulated, no wonder of course you would be angry. But not reacting to it does come out as something that will fuel your resources. So instead of going full on sort of with your thorns and your horns and all of it towards this person or that place, actually access the water inside of you, access your own resources, because you don't need the drama, and it's sort of like it's not going to do you necessarily any good, because if you were to stay in sort of this space where you're you would still be very focused on the other, you would still be in that place, and this, I mean, it doesn't look comfortable, it's very thorned and all of it. And I think you're gonna realize that, because this comes out, the Knight of Inspiration, looking like you saying, okay, F it, I'm gonna leave that be, and I'm just gonna run away. I'm gonna run away from this circus. It's sort of like you realizing these are not my monkeys, this is not my circus, and just making a run for it and getting out of that arena that also looks like it's something that runs in a loop, like a circus would, right? So you sort of being this old circus horse, just thinking, no, actually, I'm just gonna free myself by moving all the way out of it and not trying to teach them a lesson or do anything. Like, I'm just gonna release it, because I think you come to the conclusion it's not worth the hassle. And if others want to know about this, they'll come ask me. they'll get an inkling that I know something that they don't. And if not, then they're not ready. Then they're not ready. And so that insight is moving you into a very, very high potential. You know, astrologically, the highest expression of the Scorpio, like really, really ascended highest version, is the soaring eagle. And so you come out with the eagle. It's quite astounding, because it's like you move out of this this situation, and you decide that you're just gonna cut your losses and not retaliate, not do anything, just run away and save yourself. And it brings you an incredible amount of clarity, and sort of opens the sky again, because here you sit and you look so peaceful, you look so majestic, relaxed. Like you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You just are the eagle. And also being the eagle, you're very visible, you're very high up. So you, first of all, you get another perspective. But if other people wanted to see you, other people who might be in the need of your insight, they will. I mean, you have to trust that they will, because you're so majestic that your life and your light are shining. And they'll see you, and they'll know that you have wisdom for them. And it's just very clear, because just on a frequency level, you look at this point so refreshed, so ascended, so your vibe will just be very, very clear. Your light will be very clear, and you'll be very high up. You know, you'll be, even if you want to, higher up than this one. You have the ability to go much higher. I mean, this can't even move. You now have the ability to fly and go as high as you want. This thing, it's embedded in the rock. I mean, it's not movable. You can completely move. And that's really I guess the advice is to just cut your losses and move freely out of it. Be happy that you're free, and let the rest of it go. And because really also it was about you learning to see some things very clearly, and to become even more luminous than you are. And it did help you to become that. So really, you know, on a very high spiritual level, it was a gift. It was really a great learning opportunity, and you making the most of it is absolute success. Yeah. So this was your reading, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please leave me a like or a comment or a subscription, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye, Scorpio.